With this firm, we started off with a very small budget of £1,000, and in the first 30 days, we turned that into £12,000 in cash collected. Most law firms and businesses that I speak to tell me one thing, Google Ads is good, but can it work for my specific service, my specific practice area? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a live case study of a very niche practice area within law, education law. In this video, I'm going to give you the whole breakdown of the entire campaign, from keywords, landing pages, ads, everything tracking, so you can actually see what needs to be correct for you to also do the same thing for your business as well. My name is Josh. I help businesses, law firms get more business through Google Ads. This is something that I do every day. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. First thing, I'll show you the actual results. Now, the ridiculous thing is this owner actually messaged me and said to pause the campaign for a few days due to capacity issues. So you can see, we're doing quite well in terms of actually getting them results. So we've paused it now for a few days till obviously they're able to take on more business. So you can see the data here. I'll have all this blurred out obviously since it's private information, but the main thing I want you to see is the two columns here. One thing we want to do is make sure we're optimizing for the best leads possible. So when the lead comes in, the client will come in here and mark down whether the lead was good or bad. Okay, and you can see here they're marking all the leads. If they're not able to get in touch with the lead, then it's just left. Now, I will say obviously it is important to keep on top of this so you get the most data possible to send back to Google. We also do the same thing for any signed cases as well. So you can see that in the first month, starting on the 9th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks like they signed 10 cases within the first 30 days, which turned out to be just over £12,000. We send this data back to Google. I'll show you what that also looked like. We send this data back as offline conversion tracking. I'll show you that on the Google ad account in a second. And we obviously put a high value on these tagged leads that are marked as good conversions. What we've done more recently is we've optimized for getting these kind of leads come through. Now, obviously we do get bad leads still coming in. I mean, we're only in the second month of running the campaign, but as time goes on, the lead quality will just only carry on improving. Now, I'll just go straight into the actual campaign itself. So if we just check this out from the 9th to the 8th, you can see the results here. So we finished that month with a cost per conversion of £12. With education law, since the budget was so small, we could structure the campaign in a very simple way, and that's exactly what we did. So we have 3 different ad groups, and if you've watched any case studies in the past, you know that I like to segment things to be hyper specific. So we've got an ad group for education, we have an ad group for EHCP, and we have a SEN and SEND ad group as well. So I'll just show you the keywords in each. So you can see all the keywords here. We're only going for broad match and exact match. Same thing for SEN and SEND keywords, and then the education healthcare plan keywords as well. They're all here. Okay, and then this allows us to obviously write targeted ads to those specific keywords. And to be honest with you, if you take anything away from this video, the main thing you want to take away when you're running your own campaign is just to be hyper specific. When I do audits for clients that have run campaigns for themselves and maybe it's not worked out, the main thing that they do is they have one campaign, one ad group with a bunch of keywords in there and one ad. That isn't going to work. So you need to kind of take the extra step to segment everything appropriately. And I always go for 2 ads within an ad group and have both of them compete against each other. So you can see, for example, in the first month for this particular ad group, this ad had a 15.77% click-through rate. And if we look at the cost per conversion was slightly higher. And this ad, even though it had a lower click-through rate, cost per conversion is £16. So I would actually mark this one as the winner. And then what I would then try to do is try to compete against this ad and try and beat it essentially. So that's kind of how you continue improving what you're already doing. Okay, let's have a look at the next thing. All right, so what I'll also do is I'll show you some of the conversion actions here. Let's have a look. Okay, so we have contact form conversion actions and we have phone call conversion actions. And then we have our qualified lead, which is anytime the client marks the lead as good, we send that information to this sheet, and then this sheet is connected to the Google ad account. Google isn't able to match every single one of these leads, but the ones that it is able to match is obviously going to optimize for. Okay. Now, one thing we did near the end of the month, we allocated a value towards each conversion action. So for a contact form, we have a value of £50, just an arbitrary value. With phone calls, we have a value of, I believe, £50 as well. Phone calls that we can track the length of the call. With click calls, I don't think we can track the length of the call for click calls. So we put a value there of £20 because sometimes people click to call, but they don't take it's 2 clicks actually when you want to make a phone call from the mobile website, sorry. So the value of that is a little bit less. So the value 2 weeks ago was actually double that. So for contact forms, it was 100. For actual phone calls to the number, it was 100 as well. But what we noticed was because when we started the campaign, we started on manual bids. We always start campaigns off on manual bids, and then when performances, results are coming in, we then switch to maximize conversions. Now I actually switched this to maximize conversion value, wanting obviously Google to optimize for the higher value for good leads, because I've marked this as 500, right? But it didn't actually get us any better leads. In fact, the ratio got a little bit worse. So you can see in the first month, we had a decent ratio of good and bad leads. But then at the start of the second month, we got a little bit more worse leads once we switched to maximize conversion value. So what I then did only last week is I reduced the value of the front-facing conversions, and then obviously kept the value of the offline conversions the same, so it's higher relatively. I've only got a few days of data to go off of, but the ratio is improving. I think this was last week, and 2 cases were signed last week based off of that change. Okay, so offline conversions is absolutely key to ensuring that you carry on getting good quality leads. Okay, now I'll just show you the landing pages as well. So we have 3 landing pages attached to the 3 ad groups. I will admit, like, when you're making 3 different landing pages, you're probably not going to get away with, unless it's like a emergency, you might not get away with having a different headline, because some people will have exactly the same landing page, but then the headline will be the only differentiator. That isn't always going to work, and you kind of want to do more than do less, because for the person, because you might think, oh, no one's going to read it, but for the people that do read it, they might turn out to be the cases that actually move ahead. So you do actually want to make sure the copy on the page is different, not just the headline. Okay, so I'll just show you the one for the education law one. Now, what we also do with the contact form, because another issue we had with this area is a lot of people call in that are eligible for legal aid or asking for legal aid. Obviously, we have legal aid on the negative keywords list, but sometimes the wrong profile of client uses the right keyword, so we can't actually block that keyword. Okay, so what we do is we have a filter question. Depending on how they answer, they go to a different thank you page, and one of the thank you pages is being tracked by Google and optimized for, and the other one isn't. But even with that, the best way to improve lead quality from experience is having offline conversion tracking and just training the algorithm as time goes on. Once you get it right, you have situations like this where there's literally not enough capacity to carry on running the campaign. One last thing I will show that might be beneficial is, one thing I'm hypercritical of is daily checking of your search terms. So if I look at the search terms for yesterday, we always want to have clean, relevant search terms. Every single search should be an ideal search. I know agencies sometimes do this once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, but if you're running the ads for yourself, or if an agency's running it for you, just have a look at the search terms for like the previous day or the previous week, and see, is every single one of these searches relevant for what I offer and relevant to the ad group? So you can see every single search. So this is what people are actually searching to trigger your ad, right? Every single search is relevant to our keywords: education, solicitors, pretty much relevant. Okay, and anything that isn't relevant, we just block and remove. All right. So if I check it for SEN and SEND, okay, SEN, SEND, let's have a look. Best solicitors to fight social services. Okay, so something like this, it's good that we've got this example. We will just add this to the negative keywords list because it isn't relevant to the ad group or the campaign for that matter. Okay, and then the next one, EHCP everywhere. All right, so make it a good habit to always look through your search terms. That's pretty much everything. Now, if you've ever considered running Google Ads for your business, or you've run it before in the past and it didn't work out, and you're wanting to see what can be done and if it's actually possible to bring in more business through Google, this is something that we do for law firms, we do for service-based businesses. So either drop me a message or click the link in the description and book a 15-minute, 20-minute consultation call with me, and we can discuss how we might be able to help. All our work comes with a guarantee as well. That's pretty much everything. Thank you so much. Take care.